Welcome to the Fishbowl Sports Radio. Everybody, my name is Chief here, and joining me today is this lovely crew of Caleb and Juicy. How you doing today, fellas?
All right, man. Glad to be here again.
The Bears doing great today, Chief. Been at work for the last 2 weeks. I'm first day back home for the next 2 weeks, so it's always nice to be home. Get that time off with the family.
Yeah, it is always nice to spend time with the family and stuff. So let's talk about some LSU football this past weekend. LSU fried the Gators to the tune of 5 interceptions. DJ Lagway threw. Um, I was a little bit disappointed with LSU this weekend, and I'm gonna tell y'all why.
The
Same,
They
same,
had
offense.
five
same,
turn
same.
they had 5 turnovers, but only scored 10 points off of those said turnovers
They had
when
the
all
pick
was said and
six,
done.
which was the defensive points.
Yeah, and the offense didn't really capitalize too much on there. Bear, we'll start with you since you are the most negative one of us three. Um, what do you
Yeah,
thought about
I would
the points off turnovers?
I wouldn't say the most negative, but I mean it's definitely most
I
realistic.
know
I
Bears
mean,
got a lot to say about it.
definitely the most realistic because, I mean, like I said, as far as for old Brian Kelly, he's Coach BK now because apparently he can have it. You'll have it his way, and eat you alive during the press conference after the game if you ask him about that atrocious offense that just for some reason only scored 7 points the whole game, one touchdown the whole game. That's it. Two field goals and a defensive touchdown. And I mean, it's just the reporter, I feel, I mean, I have a little different opinion on everybody. I've heard mixed opinions of, oh no, the reporter was right in what he did. Oh, the reporter wasn't right. Brian Kelly's like, yeah, this team just won. We just beat Florida. Like, don't, just be happy for the win. But I'm going to disagree with that. I do believe the reporter was within his rights to ask the question about the offense because, I mean, it is clearly an issue. I mean, you want this team to compete for a national championship, you have to have both sides of the ball playing well. There's no way we're going to be able to match up against Georgia and Ohio State and Penn State and whoever else, with an offense that only scores, one touchdown a game. If you look at LSU's offensive stats through 3 games, it's actually a little better if you take it individually game by game. But so far on the season as a whole, on every major offensive category, we're either in like ranked in the 90s all the way down to like 100 in the 120s on every statistical major, offensive category. So, I mean, yes, there is an issue. And I agree with the reporter. So, yeah, I mean, Brian Kelly can be upset all he wants, but the fact of the matter is this offense is atrocious and something's got to be done. If you notice, the one touchdown we scored on offense, there were zero screen passes, zero bubble screens, whatever you want to call them. And the offense was actually that when it was the best. And also, you're gonna wait to tell us the 2 days after you go off on the reporter that Garrett Nussmeier has a torso injury, and you're talking about playing him in the Southeastern game. Come on, Brian Kelly, you can't be serious, dude. Like we 100% absolutely do not need him to sit. Do not need him to play. Excuse me, in this Southeastern game. Sit him. Do not let him practice for the next 2 or 3 weeks until Ole Miss comes into town. The offensive line is still atrocious. We still have issues on the offensive line. I mean, I could go on and on, but for time's sake, I'm just gonna go ahead and hold off on what else I want to say.
All right, to kind of like further, go along with what Caleb is saying, I do agree. LSU's offense isn't the best right now. They're ranked 90th in points per game.
Yep.
Looking at that, values at 20, yards is at 81st. That rushing, they only rush the
Yeah.
ball 108th out of the most, and then
Yeah.
the
108th in the
yards are
nation in
97th.
rushing.
So yeah,
My
so what
goodness.
it the back to the reporter thing, whenever I was in news, I covered news for 5 years. Um,
I mean, yeah,
and
kudos to the
tip,
reporter. He was
yeah,
very well
so
prepared on his questions. He
To
had every right
critique
to
him.
ask.
So I'm gonna play devil's advocate because I mean, news is a really opinionated kind of like thing in
Yeah,
some regards there with like
yeah,
how you want to do your questions. I would have gave him. Here's how typically how I did it because I would if I was gonna be critical with a question with somebody, it was gonna be I'm gonna spoon feed you one. Okay. So I could be, you could be good because I'm giving and taking with you, right? So
yeah,
I'm gonna pay you a compliment first, like, man, I would have probably my first question be like, Coach Kelly, that defense out there, you how did that pick six change the momentum of the game? That kind of thing. You could give him something like that, but then the second question could be what he asked him, which is completely fine because if he comes back on, you could be like, well, I complimented your defense first. You see, that way it's a lot of balance
yeah,
with it. You're asking him a balanced question. You gave him a compliment, then you gave him a critique. It's a lot of back and forth, and that's how you got to play with journalism and
yeah.
stuff
And I'm
with
I
also
him.
get
gonna
But
I'm also gonna
what's
say
that?
this too real quick before the way Brian Kelly answered the question so defensively, it basically is telling me that he knows that there's a problem. He does not have a good answer to fix it as far as
I
the
agree with you there.
offense.
I do think that it got under his skin a good bit there, and in the heat of the moment, he lost his cool there, which it's looking like that is an issue, and it needs to be addressed and needs to be fixed somehow. I
Oh,
mean, they got
absolutely. We
I get
Southeastern.
that.
They could throw the kitchen sink at Southeastern and see if it works or not because you should dominate Southeastern. I would sit Nussmeier the next game.
Oh,
I don't
absolutely.
think
You
there's a
need to.
reason. I don't think there's a reason to. You could work on your running game that one. Don't worry about the passing game so much. Work on your running game. If you can work on your running game, then the passing game will probably follow the running game because they're going to probably open up more for them receivers there. Now, granted, LSU's got a lot of talented receivers. They're deep at receiver. I don't think the receivers are the problem. I think it's the
No, it's
offensive
the
line they need
offensive
work.
line and Nussmeier. Nussmeier actually looks like to me he's taken a step back from last year. He did looks like he's regressed, honestly, if you ask me.
I think Joe Sloan's the problem.
I think so too.
What you think, Juicy, about LSU's offensive woes?
Uh, I just I just think, I mean, back to y'all's point, I mean, it's not good. I mean, basically, y'all basically said everything there is to say. I mean, uh, though LSU hasn't really turned the ball over much, which is a plus, but
Yes, that's definitely a plus.
that's really helped them to win these games too. And defense not turning the ball over, that's been a saving grace for them to kind of help pick up the slack on the offense. I mean, it's one thing if like they had like the 2011 team and stuff. I mean, granted they lost in the national championship game, but the defense really dominated the team that year with the Honey Badger and all them on their team and Patrick Peterson. That was a different ordeal. Yeah, the defense really dominated. It was kind of like that year. It's kind of similar right now how it's setting up. It's still early to tell. Southeastern's a good game to kind of maybe get that fine tune to finally get that final tune up game before a stretch of SEC ball starts. I think defensively they'll be okay for sure. Their defense is going to keep them in a lot of games this year.
We got no choice at this
I
point.
mean, yeah. Granted, I mean, the offensive line does look bad. What I think would help LSU is going back
Hiring an offensive
is
coordinator.
well, that, but I was gonna say maybe try running some up tempo, like some no like some hurry up offense, like that. That
Well,
that that
they
usually
did in
can
that touchdown drive they had in the game.
that usually
They ran
can
no
keep a
huddle, and
defense
yeah, and
off
they
balance. You run a no huddle offense, it usually kind of you can keep a defense on their heels like that. So maybe I think they should try to incorporate more of that.
LSU's top 10 in the country on defense against the
yeah
run. I mean, that is
they're
something
like
to really
number
like
8, I
look at
think.
and see across the board here. Opponent point per game, they're seventh. I mean,
Okay,
yeah, like I mean,
They
they're
I'm
live by
ninth.
the blitz and die by the blitz.
I'm just gonna say this, and I'm gonna leave it alone. I mean, you pay this man, Coach Burger King, is making $12 million a year, and this is the best that you can put on the field. Talent, I mean, not talent wise, but this is the best that you can do for play calling for as an offensive
Well, not
coordinator.
really.
Like, what is the deal?
When he had Mike Denbrock, which I thought was a great hire, the offense clicked pretty well.
Exactly, but Mike Denbrock is not there. Mike Denbrock is at Notre Dame now, and this
So
is the best
obviously
that you
that's
can
not the
do.
best. We know that's not the best. We've seen
Well,
better
we need to
with
fix
Brian
it.
Kelly.
We need to fix it, and I'm gonna leave it alone. This Coach Burger King got me all worked up.
Look, I think here, like, even if LSU improves to a top 50 offense, they don't have to be a top 10 offense or a top 20 offense. I think a top 50 with the defense they got right now, you're going to win some ball games. And you probably be in the CFP for sure with it. Now,
Especially if
you're
they
asking for,
winning the turnover battle too.
yeah, especially if they just keep the turnover situation like it is here. Because that defense is going to have an off game somewhere. I don't know where it's going to be, but that's typically what happens with teams. They're going to have
I
a
mean,
bad day somewhere, and that offense is going to come together here.
we're getting
Um,
we're getting into the heart of the SEC schedule after Southeastern, where I mean this whole zero coverage downfield is not going to work against. We got to Blake Baker's got to figure out something to keep. They're basically the other offenses, other teams we're playing are going to pick up on
Hey,
our
I
on
like
our
the
defensive
aggressive
strategies.
defense. I like the aggressive defense. Hey,
Well, with
you ain't
aggressive,
gonna sit there and let him pick you apart back there. I mean, you might as well at least try to make him
yeah,
throw the
but
ball
the
before he
thing
wants to
is,
throw it.
you got a neutral offense that can't do anything,
I
that
know.
can't
Yeah,
move
we
the
can go
ball.
on and on about it, but I know we're in a time crunch. Let's
well,
keep this rolling.
anyway, here,
Yeah,
let's talk about the targeting call that got a good bit of heat online from what I could tell. And one thing that I've seen from years that people have suggested throughout the years is a tiered system for targeting, which I think college football needs. Now,
You
what
talking
weeks
about like
did
the old face mask with the 5 yard and the 15 yard back in the
yeah,
day?
well, that kind of thing there. Like what weeks did compared to remember that Florida safety in the 2008 national championship game? I think it was Major Wright, is that correct?
yeah, Major Right. Yep, Major Right. I know
And
exactly what play you're talking about.
yeah, he came across that sideline that
And he's
Oklahoma was
like,
at the
"Ooh, I gotta go." Now he said, "I gotta go get this, not the ball, him." And then
Is
he
that
just
when they played
laid that dude out.
Oklahoma? Is that
Yep,
when they played Oklahoma?
that's when
yeah,
they played
and you
Oklahoma.
now that one would be a tier three. That one is obviously
Targeting wasn't even a thing back then,
play,
huh?
yeah, flagrant. You know that's the one that you get suspended for the game,
I
or
mean,
maybe two games. That
yeah.
one, like, yeah, that one needs to be stopped.
I agree. I agree on the whole tiered system myself for the targeting calls, but based off of the replay from what I saw and the interpretation of the rules, I mean it was targeting. He
But
went
tier
in with the
one needs
crown.
to be like
He went in with the crown of the helmet and just went helmet to helmet on him. And I mean, based off that was a targeting. I mean,
tier
there's
one
just no
needs to
way
be
around it.
like just like
But
a 15
what would
yard
that look
penalty
like
or
on the
something.
scale though? Like, okay, like Caleb,
Oh,
I agree with
okay,
targeting. Where
okay.
would that
Oh,
look
as
like
far
on
as
a tier system? Go ahead.
so depending on how you would define it, I mean, the whole yeah. If we talking about major right type hit, yeah, that's a tier three. I mean, this one would probably be like probably a tier somewhere in the middle, like a number two, a tier two, which would be a 15-yard
Like tier
penalty.
one should be like just a 15 yard penalty. Tier two should be like 15 yard and suspended for like a half, and then
Yeah,
like
suspension for the
third
half, and
tier
then the
three should
tier
be like
three we like the
you
yeah
ejected and then you suspended the whole next game too.
yeah like a 1 game suspension type
That's
deal.
what I think it should be.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that because I mean they
I
like
can
some of
agree with
these
that.
are yeah, some of these are just like this in general, just college football in general. It's not really some of these like they're not really they're like it's very like gray targeting calls that and y'all
Yeah,
know some that I'm talking about here.
But I
And
get
it's
it
like,
though. Making it universal is
But
much easier
yeah,
than trying to
and
figure out.
also the rules are we talked about. I think we talked about this already. The rules are vague enough that it's open to interpretation by whatever conference is officiating the game.
that's why I think this tier system would work better. I think
Yeah.
it'd be more efficient for sure.
But
Because
I
you
get
don't
the
want to
universal
decide the
thing
game
though.
in the
You
first
can just one
you,
rule
you
fits
don't
all.
you don't want to decide the game in the first like drive of the game. I think it was what, two or three plays? Then what
Yeah,
weeks
it
is
wasn't
taking out the
far.
entire game?
Didn't affect the
I,
defense though. They still played well.
yeah, but what if like it would have affected the defense though? What if you didn't
True,
have
but they
good
still had
yeah.
Harold Perkins in there. Still,
What is all year?
he ain't had to
He's
do.
he's
He ain't had.
basically a
I
non-factor.
kind of I, that
I tend
first
to
game
disagree
like
with that. I've seen Harold Perkins a lot in the backfield, a lot. Now he ain't had sacks, but
yeah.
he's definitely been on some
I
blitzes
don't think
though.
it shows up on the stat sheet, but his presence definitely, I
So
think definitely.
His
okay,
presence
so
is
wait,
known
hold
out
on.
there.
Not only did we lose Whit Weeks to targeting, we lost West Weeks to an injury. I think
It
an
was a
oblique
calf strain,
injury,
right?
a calf strain or something. So we're down to
Yeah,
the third Weeks brother, whatever I forgot what his name is, and Harold Perkins, and they just out there still wrecking shop. So kudos to Blake Baker on that part of the game.
yeah.
That's
I
Wyatt.
think
Wyatt Weeks is the third one. Wyatt Weeks.
I'm gonna get all like messed up with all the W's and the Weeks brothers' name and stuff,
Yeah.
man.
We
Gonna make
got
you
it. We
go
got to
crazy.
come up. They
Noah.
got to. We need to come up with something creative. Like we had Brady James, and we had the James gang back in the day. We had Brady James and who when the other one I forgot what his name was.
So it's Wit, Wyatt, and what's the last one's
Wes,
name?
Witt, and Wyatt.
Yeah.
No,
Why
Witt,
not just
Wes,
call
and
them World?
Wyatt.
Why not just call them World War III?
Yeah,
Good. That's a good name.
yeah. Basically, that'd be cool.
Oh, I want to add in there too. LSU's defense made Florida one dimensional because DJ Lagway threw the ball 50 times too. So he threw 5 picks because he threw the ball 50 times. So
I could see it in
that's a
his
good
face when he
stat
threw
to
that first.
mention.
Juicy when he threw that first pick on that, and I could tell he was rattled after that first pick. And look, I love Napier as a coach because he helped out my Cajuns a good bit, but man, he didn't do anything to help his quarterback in that game.
I think
He
he's
didn't do
going to be
nothing. He
gone.
didn't do anything to help himself.
I think he's got the hottest seat right now in the SEC.
Yeah, and it's gonna get worse. They're gonna play Miami, and
Oh, that's a loss.
so
That's a loss.
Yeah, we're about to
yeah,
get into that in a second.
yeah, which is a good time to actually somewhat transition over into it. But like from people that went to the game that I know and stuff, they like going to the game and very good atmosphere. They open up the SEC play for the LSU Tigers. Um,
But at least they
I
won. It's better to talk about it after a win than a loss.
yeah, Ole Miss is the next SEC team on the docket here, but Southeastern, you need to treat that as like a kind of
The
you can
last
experiment.
game to get it
I
right.
think
The last game to really get this right.
It's a tune-up. It's a final, like, this is it. It's do or die.
this is I mean you got 2 weeks to prepare. I think you're gonna be fine. I think if they if they could get the run game going, I think that would help the passing game more because they're throwing the ball 35 times, 35.7 average between the first three games. That's a lot. That's a lot
Yeah,
of passes to be thrown.
Now Nussmeyer
that is a
doesn't
lot.
throw a lot of picks, thank God. But
Now he threw that one pick, which was terrible. That was a terrible, like,
Yeah, that was a bad
yeah,
throw.
it was
I
a
think I think that was
bad.
a misread on his part.
Yeah, I think it looked like a misread from what I could tell. But
But you know what else? You know what else helped us too is the fact that Florida plays very undisciplined because had it not been for those two penalties that one of them had a touchdown called back, it could have been a completely different game.
True.
True. That is a very good point you make there, Caleb. Now let's see if we're gonna be friends or foes right here.
Let's
Let's
focus
see.
on move on to next week.
All right, here we go.
Friend or foe?
If
That's
we're
what
gonna be
this
friends
sec.
or foes, you're about to find out. All right, we're gonna start off at 11 a.m. on 9/20 Saturday, number 17, Texas Tech taking on number 16, Utah. Bear, we're gonna start with you, buddy.
Let's see. Texas Tech, I think, has the better team all around. But Utah does. I mean, they do play good offense, good defense, but I just think that Texas Tech has a little too much, with their whole NIL deal. So I'm going with the Red Raiders in this one.
What you thinking, Juicy?
I'm going the same. I think Texas Tech.
You know what? There's a chance I'm gonna agree with both of y'all here. I got
Oh, we
Texas
all
Tech.
friends. We all
Oh,
friends.
we all friends here. UAB taking on number 15, Tennessee.
Oh
Bear,
my
who you got in
God.
this one?
Oh, this is a bounce back game for Tennessee. I mean, they played their hearts out. Joey Aguilar last week. I watched that game start to finish. Joey Aguilar, he impressed me. Gunnar Stockton did too. But this should be an easy win for Tennessee. That defense is pretty good.
Juicy, what you thinking?
Oh man, you'd be having to check me into the asylum if I thought UAB would win this game. I got Tennessee.
Man, the fighting Dilfers don't get no love.
They'll
Look,
score one touchdown, okay? They'll score one
so
touchdown.
what I've been reading on message boards for I came across a UAB one, and apparently they're not too happy with Dilfer. He might be. It sounded like he's on the hot seat over there at
I've
UAB,
heard some,
but
yeah, I've kind of heard that too a little bit.
that's been some rumblings over there. But Tennessee, they should have won that game. It should have never went to overtime.
Yeah,
Um,
they had a chance to bury
they
Georgia
had it.
28-7. They had a couple penalties on that drive, and it just kind of it went into halftime, and it just kind of turned the tide of that game. But
Yeah.
Gunnar Stockton, man, anybody if there was anybody that had any doubts, like I did last week about Gunnar Stockton, watching some of the throws that he made, my goodness,
He
he
showed up
he
really big.
is
He showed up in
he's
that
gonna be
game for
good.
sure. I
Yes.
got Tennessee winning this one. He definitely showed up in that one when his team needed him the most, and that's what you expect out of your field general. So I mean, kudos to Georgia right there. Oregon State taking on number 6 Oregon. I got the Ducks. Who you got, Bear?
I got oh,
Oh, the Civil War game, it's back. So
Yeah.
yeah, Oregon should win this one easily. This Oregon State's they're like a bottom 50 team. They're terrible.
What you thinking, Juicy?
I got the Ducks.
All right, number 22 Auburn taking on number 11 Oklahoma here. Ooh, man, this is going to be a
Ooh,
pretty good matchup here, Bear.
oh
Who you got in
yeah.
this
So Auburn, of course, granted they played Baylor and they haven't really this their first real test, but I mean they're averaging over 200 yards a game running the football. That just seems to be their MO this year. They're just going to come out and pound it down your throat and up down the middle and just give it to you. But I don't know that after the Oklahoma defense that I've seen over the last few games with John Mateer, running the show, and apparently he's their leading rusher too. So I'm going with the Sooners in this one.
What you thinking, Juicy?
I'm thinking the same thing actually. I was leaning Oklahoma. I've been impressed with them. I mean, it's with the Michigan win and everything. I like Oklahoma. I think they can handle this one.
Now,
It's
Auburn
gonna be
has a chance
close
to
though.
win this game. Yeah, Auburn has a chance to win this one here.
Of course they
If
do.
they,
'Cause they're gonna be out on the field. Anybody got a chance.
yeah, because what they're gonna do is if their
show up
run
and
game works out very well, they're going to reduce the number of possessions that Oklahoma offense is going to get, which, that's going to be a very big thing to have in this game probably here. That's one key that I'm looking forward in this game here. Do I think they're going to be able to establish it's a whole nother question, which I don't think they will
Yeah.
be able to. I got Oklahoma winning this one.
Hey, we're all friends again.
Kent State taking on number 7, Florida State. I got Florida State winning this one. What you think, Bear?
Oh, I mean, anybody like Juicy said earlier, you check me into the asylum if I'm giving Kent State a chance to win this game because they've been terrible for a long time. So I'm gonna go with Florida State in this one.
What you thinking, Juicy?
well, they're called the Kent State Flashes
Golden
because
Flash, the
the
Golden
Golden
Flash.
Flash, because the only thing that's going to be flashing is the scoreboard when Florida State keeps scoring on points on them. I got Florida State.
I like that. That's a good pick. That's a
That is
really nice
great.
pick.
That's
That was
great.
good. Number 21, Michigan taking on Nebraska. If look, I'll pick this one first here. If this was 19 in the 1990s, this would be a really great
This will be a
barn
heck of a
burner of a
matchup.
game right here. But last I checked, we're in the year 2025, and let's stop trying to bring up Nebraska's glory days. I don't know if they're ever going to come back with NIL. Give me Michigan. What do you think, Bear?
Yeah, I mean, Nebraska does some interesting things with Matt Rule's offense and Dylan Raiola running the show, but talent wise, Michigan's they've got a really good offensive line, a good defensive line, so I don't think Nebraska's going to win. I'm gonna pick the Wolverines in this one. I'm taking the Wolverines on the road.
No mention of Bryce Underwood, man.
No,
He's having a good
not
year.
not impressed by him.
He's only a
You're not?
freshman, though. Come on now.
What you
But
got, Juicy?
I have Michigan winning this game, but Bryce Underwood's only a freshman. I think he'll be all right.
Purdue taking on number 24, Notre Dame. Bear, who you got in this one?
kind of interesting. Speaking of Notre Dame, they're 0-2, ranked in the AP poll. It's kind of interesting to me because
Because of their
I,
losses, that's why.
well, I know I think that, but yeah, but what they're banking on is
Why are
Notre
they
Dame
ranked?
coming back and what they're banking on is Notre Dame coming back and possibly making the playoff. But if you look at their upcoming schedule, I mean, they don't have any really marquee wins like against. They have Arkansas coming up. They have Purdue, but I'm picking Notre Dame. I mean, if Purdue wins, it'll be a miracle. But I mean, Notre Dame should handle this one easily.
Juicy, what you thinking?
I got Notre Dame, man. I picked them last week, but I mean, clearly they're not
They're
playing a ranked
but their
team.
their defense is trash, but
They're
it
they're
should be
playing
handled.
they're playing Purdue. I think. I mean, clearly, I think Notre Dame wins. If Purdue wins, then we know that Notre Dame's a fraud for real. But I have Notre Dame.
My pick here is obviously going to be it's going to be Notre Dame, but they shouldn't be ranked. We shouldn't be picking this game this week. This
No,
is one that they don't deserve to be a top 25 team. Point
that's a that's
blank.
a that's
They're
another
not.
topic for a discussion on
Uh,
another day too. Is this whole poll system?
they oh well, they, there was some poster out there that had their ballot. I don't remember her name, but she submitted her ballot
I know who.
and
Yeah,
it blew up all over the internet and people were criticizing her left and right. I don't know if it was this past week or the week before or
it
something,
was
but
this past week because they
it
mentioned
was
they mentioned that on the Cover Three, the Big Ten podcast.
yeah, and they were like, did she watch any of the games? Because I like seen some of her picks and I was like,
Yeah,
whoa,
she came
like
out
that's
and said no, she did not pay attention to the scores.
like
At least
And
she
you
was
see, this is
honest.
why I don't agree with a committee. What like this could be another tangent, but why in America do we have let anything that's got a problem? Let's form a committee and talk about it. Let's form a committee and talk about it. Why not we just use the BCS system
Well,
and just have
it
it
and it
ranked? The
And it also shows the partiality of the blue blood programs, whether like Notre Dame's 0-2 ranked in the AP poll with their upcoming schedule that has USC on it, that has Arkansas on it, that has Purdue on it. Like none of those are marquee signature wins. How does beating Arkansas get you into the college football playoff? You know,
all right. Let's move along here. Tulane taking on number 13 Ole Miss here. Who you thinking, Bear?
Ole Miss and who was it?
Tulane.
Tulane.
Oh, Tulane. Okay, yeah. I mean, Ole Miss's defense is garbage, but I mean they should be able to handle Tulane. So I'm picking Ole Miss to win this game.
What you thinking, Juicy?
Ole Miss.
You know what? This one's kind of sneaky.
And
I
kudos
get it
to
though. Tulane is a little
Tulane,
sneaky. I get
they
it.
they beat Duke this past weekend.
yeah, but Duke is
They
trash.
this one's kind of sneaky a little bit. I'm not gonna call an upset, but this is one I'm kind of watching a little
I
bit
get
here.
it though. I mean,
Yeah, like this one's
Tulane
kind of
has been
sneaky,
kind of
but I'll go
sneaky.
with Ole Miss.
I get it.
Yeah,
Temple take on
kudos to
number 8.
go
Wait,
ahead.
what?
I was just say kudos to Lane Kiffin because what's his face? Their quarterback got hurt and he comes in and he just absolutely torched Arkansas last week.
Yep.
And he has a really cool
Temple.
name too.
Temple taking on number 18, Georgia Tech here. I got Georgia Tech winning this one. This was on the CW. By the way, everybody that says that nobody watches the CW, you were wrong. They pulled in 563,000 people to watch the game this past weekend. What you got, Bear?
Yeah, I'm taking Georgia Tech in this one. I like
I
their story. Haynes King shredded himself. He shredded that Clemson defense last week for over 200. He ran the ball for like 23 times for over 200 yards, almost 200
he,
yards.
he is
With
Georgia Tech's version of Tim Tebow. What do you think,
yeah,
Juicy?
with we're supposed to be 3 draft picks on that Clemson defense.
I got I got the Yellow Jackets. They've been really impressive this year. I got Georgia Tech.
South Carolina coming off a loss against Vanderbilt, taking on number 23 Missouri, who destroyed my Raging Cajuns. I got Missouri winning this one. What you thinking, Bear?
Yeah, Missouri should handle business in this one.
What you thinking, Juicy?
I got Missouri. I'm not nearly as high on South Carolina as I was a few weeks ago.
Nope,
Yeah, they
especially
lost
that
Sellers too,
Lenore
so that doesn't
Sellers
help out
out.
much either. Florida take on number 4, the Miami Hurricanes. Only 7.5 point favorites. Kind of surprising for me there. I think Carson Beck, Miami take care of business. Who you thinking, Bear?
Yeah, Miami's offensive line and defensive line is built to compete for a national championship, and Carson Beck just looks like a whole new animal down there. So I'm taking Miami. They should be able to handle Florida and finally run Billy out of town.
Juicy, what you think?
Oh, this game ain't even gonna be close. 7.5 to me is pretty conservative. I think Miami's gonna the way Florida's playing. I think Miami's gonna at least at no less than 4 touchdowns is gonna win this game.
All right, let's see how fast
Oh,
we can pick.
Close.
Let's see how
that's
fast we
a
can pick
bold
these
take.
last 5 games here. Georgia State take on number 20 Vanderbilt. I got Vanderbilt.
Look at the
Bear.
Commodores, man.
Yeah, Vanderbilt, the way they're playing, I mean, there's not there's nobody that can beat them right now. Give me Vanderbilt.
Juicy.
I got the Commodores, man. I've been really impressed with them. I called the upset. Well, me and Bear called the upset, and they more than showed up. I got Vandy.
Number 9 Illinois take on number 19 Indiana. Give me the Fighting Illini. What you thinking, Bear?
Yeah, kind of listening to some analysis of the game. I'm gonna take Illinois as well with the home field advantage. Is it on the road or where are
It's
they
on the
playing
road.
at? They playing in Indiana.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Hoosiers in this one because I mean the home field
That's fair.
advantage and I mean it's really a toss up. Both teams have similar offenses, similar defense. I mean it's really a toss up. But I'm going with the home field advantage. I'm taking the Hoosiers.
Juicy.
I got Illinois.
Southeastern taking on LSU here. I got LSU. What you think, Bear?
Yeah, LSU should handle business. And for God's sakes, Brian Kelly, sit Nussmeier. Do not play him this week.
Juicy.
I got LSU. I agree. Sitting us, work on the run game.
Sam Houston take on the rate Texas. I got Texas.
Oh, dude, Arch looks bad. He looks bad. I don't know if he's hurt or if he's mechanically lost his way. I mean, Texas should win this game, but the wheels are falling off for Arch, and it's not good.
Juicy.
Texas.
Michigan State, USC. I got USC. Bear.
Yeah, I'll take USC.
Juicy.
USC.
For the Fishbowl Sports Radio. Hope you have a great, wonderful night. We're going to see you here next time here on the Fishbowl Sports Radio. Have a good night, Fishbowl Nation, and follow us on all our social media accounts: Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Threads, and that'll be all for us right there. And that's where you'll find us. So thank y'all for tuning in. Have a great, wonderful day. We'll see you here next time here on the Fishbowl Sports Radio. Have a good night, Fishbowl Nation. And thank y'all for tuning in here to the Fishbowl Sports Radio. Hope you have a great, wonderful night, and follow us on all our social media accounts here, such as Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube, Threads, and TikTok. Have a good night, Fishbowl Nation.